Hey everybody, I'm Brandon72Mo. By now, you have most likely seen my import-export hidden vehicles videos. I showed you a brief glimpse of each car, and then I went through and showed you all of the customizations and took each one for a short drive. But the story isn't complete yet. We need to know how they perform. To get the official numbers for these vehicles, we'll have to wait until the cars are released and Bruffy1322 posts his lap times and top speed testing. Until then, I thought I could take a more informal look at the performance of each vehicle. I'll start off with a drag race, pitting each vehicle against one or two of the top performers from their class. Once those are finished, I'll take each one for a quick lap around the track. So, let's get to it. We kick it off with the Pegassi FCR 1000 pitted against the Hakachu Drag. No big shock here, the FCR 1000 can't keep up, finishing about 1 1/4 seconds slower. When upgraded to an FCR 1000 Custom, it actually gets a little slower, finishing just over 2 seconds slower than the Hakachu Drag. Moving on to sports cars, I've picked the Schafter V12 and the Masakura race car for testing. First up is the Dubachi Spectre, finishing a little over a second after the Masakura, and about half a second after the Schafter.
Well, fuck this.
When the Spectre is upgraded to a Custom, it gains about 3/10 of a second in speed, finishing 7/10 of a second after the Masakura.
Bitch ass bullshit.
The Comet Retro Custom does slightly better, coming in just 6/10 of a second slower than the Sakura.
Fuck.
Now to the supercars. The 811 and the RE7B are the competitors to beat this time. The Progen Italy GTV is about 3/10 of a second slower than the 811 and over half a second quicker than the RE7B.
Screw it. This don't make no fucking sense. Ow.
When turned into an Italy GTV Custom, it turns in a run that is about 1/10 of a second quicker, but still not fast enough to catch the 811.
Oh shit, don't make no fucking sense.
Then there's the Truffaut Nero. I was really rooting for this car, but it turned in the exact same time as the Italy GTV Custom.
Hey, this don't make no fucking sense.
Pay a bunch of money to Vinny to upgrade the Nero into a custom, and you gain about 0.05 of a second.
Man, fuck this shit. Don't make no fucking sense.
Of course, drag racing on a short distance doesn't measure top speed, braking, handling, and traction. For most of those, we need to hit the track. Granted, the track I've chosen won't get any vehicle to its top speed, but this should still give us a good clue how they perform. Once again, the FCR 1000 is up first. And, you know, it's not a bad bike. I'm making sure, just like I did in the drag races, that I was wheeling. Though in the drag races, I was leaning forward on the Hakachu drag, because that is actually how you get that bike to go faster. That's from the Gospel according to Bruffy. But this isn't a fast bike, and it's not meant to be a fast bike. It's meant to be a retro bike. You know, in its day, it may have been fast, but it's not particularly quick against modern bikes. It does okay in the corners. It doesn't turn in quite the best. As you can see there, I had to go a little bit wide to get around the hairpin. But it does okay around the corners. It doesn't want to lose traction or anything like that. And it has decent acceleration, but it's clearly not going to win any races. It's just not what it's meant for as I honk the horn. And you're wondering why I have a lowrider horn? The Menu's custom mod has an auto upgrade feature that just puts on all the most expensive upgrades. That upgrades you to a turbo and engine and your best suspension and everything like that, but it also puts on really weird horns. So every once in a while, if I bump the horn, well, that happens. But next up, we have the FCR 1000 Custom. Of course, we already found out from the drag race, and in a straight line, the acceleration is not as quick, and it's noticeable already. You can see that the bike is going slower. I'm wheeling every chance that I get, because, of course, in a racing situation, you gotta wheel it. You have to on motorcycles. It's just a given. Again, on everything except the Hakachu drag, you have to wheelie. Even if the front wheel doesn't come off the ground, you still need to pull back and do the wheelie action if you're going to get your best speed. Of course, for me, wheeling means I kind of lose a little bit of my steering control, but, you know, it happens. The traction is about on par with the custom version of the FCR 1000, though I did notice that the fairing options for up by the headlight do give you a traction boost, so they act as a spoiler for some reason. So keep that in mind when you're looking through Benny's and through Los Angeles Customs to upgrade these bikes. You will gain a traction boost, or traction gain, by upgrading that fairing. But yeah, the FCR 1000, again, not the fastest bike, but it's not bad to take around. More of a cruising around in a lobby bike than a racing bike for sure. So we'll pull it up here to our unofficial ending spot. And then we'll move on to the Spectre. A lovely, lovely car from Dubachi. Makes a fantastic sound, but off the line it's not super quick. Though it does tend to pile on the speed rather nicely. I kind of enjoy driving this car around a track. What's really interesting is that of a lot of the cars, the non-custom versions are my favorites because I like just their balance that they have. When you upgrade them into customs, they turn into full-on race cars, and that balance is lost a little bit. Granted, they perform better as customs, but I tend to enjoy them as just the stock variants a little bit more. But this isn't bad to drive. The braking is good. I'm not finding myself running out of track. Doesn't have the best turning radius, but it does okay. The traction is fantastic on this car, though. I haven't had to fight with it at all. But I really don't think we're looking at a class beater here. I could be wrong, but I really don't see anything that is going to just destroy or upset the sports car class. It just doesn't seem like the Spectre has it in it. Not even to take on its stablemate, the Masacro, and the Masacro race car. I think those cars are going to remain faster than this one. But that brings us, of course, to the Spectre Custom. And don't blame me for any of these paint jobs. Again, I just hit the auto upgrade button in menu, and it just chooses the most expensive thing that there is. So, yeah. That's why we have it. Of course, being upgraded to a custom definitely gives us more acceleration and a lot more grip. And it seems like we're even getting up to a higher speed thanks to the acceleration a lot quicker. Of course, that was a redundant statement. Hello, fence. We're going to have many, many, many encounters with that fence in this video. It's not there in GTA Online. They take out a lot of those dynamic props in GTA Online. Don't know why, they just do. So I'm not used to it being there. And so the line that I normally take on this track, which by the way, it's Ruffy's Cutting Corners GP track that I'm kind of following roughly. The barriers aren't there, so I'm getting as close as I can. But yeah, I have lots of incidences with that fence. But the Spectre Custom's doing a fine job. Again, though, I don't have lap times, so I don't really know, but this just doesn't feel like anything that the sports car class needs to be all that worried about. It's a fine car to drive, and I've enjoyed driving it, but yeah, I don't think we have a competitor here. It's not to say it's not a fine looking car, though. Oh my god, it's beautiful. That brings us to the Comet Retro Custom. This thing can be a handful. I can't remember going into this video as I do my voiceover exactly how well I handle it here, so I may embarrass myself in a second. I don't know. But once you spend a little bit of time in this car, it gets a little easier to know right where its limits are. Oh my god, I went really wide there. It is a handful though. The Comet, if you know how to drive it, the regular Comet, you can get it around a lobby and around a track in a decent amount of time. But it does oversteer quite a bit. And the Comet Retro Custom, even more so. It doesn't just have the same amount of grip, despite getting the spoiler there. We can see the back end started to get away from me. But the nice thing is the acceleration out of the corners seems decent. Not the fastest, but it does get going again at a decent clip. But you can just kind of tell, looking at the pace. I don't know. Again, I don't know that we've got anything that the sports car class needs to be too terribly worried about here. Which is fine. It's still a great looking car, and I can't wait to own one and park it in my race car garage because, I mean, look at it. It's amazing. Even with this ugly color scheme that Menu came up with, it's still an amazing little car. And it's a lot of fun, and I like Porsches, so there's that. So that brings us into Supercar territory. And up first is the Italy GTB. Of course, everybody wants to know how this thing performs against the T20 and the Tyrus. I don't know. It definitely has its own driving characteristics. It's not really like either one of those cars, in my opinion. It has its own feel to it. It is very, very quick. Yeah, I like driving it quite a bit. And there is the fence again as my voice cracks after taking a drink of water. But yeah, it tends to handle nice in the corners. It does want to get away every once in a while. Of course, all these laps that you're looking at are literally the first time I've driven the cars under a performance situation. I mean, yeah, I did like the lap around the block in most of these cars, and then I took the Neros around a longer drive, but still, I don't have a lot of seat time in any of these cars, so I'm not getting the most out of them at all. The back end did kick up there quite a bit on those uneven tracks, so that might be something we need to watch for in this car. Maybe it's lightweight, makes it a little bouncy over the uneven pavement. Oh, got a little squirrely just coming around to come back to the line there. But that brings us to the Italy GTB Custom. And this one actually doesn't look all that bad. And excuse me as I took another drink of water there. Doing the commentary as I watch my own video doesn't give me a chance to pause. I have to record this in one shot, so you're getting this in one shot. You better be grateful. No, I'm kidding. So once again, upgrading it into a custom, better acceleration, better braking, and a fence. though not as much of the fence. And the traction and handling seem a little bit better. We'll see how it does over some of the uneven stuff here in just a few seconds. But honestly, it's a lot more fun to drive when this car's upgraded into the custom. As we come into the hairpin, able to get through there with a little bit more speed than we did in the stock version of the Italia GTB. And it definitely, you can see just coming down through this straightaway, it just accelerates out of those corners just that much quicker, and then it keeps climbing even faster. So, all around, oh, a skid. All around a good car. Fastest supercar? I don't know. I don't think so. I really don't. I think really the only thing that might give the supercars are the ones that are coming up here. The one that might give the supercars a run for their money. Which, of course, is the Nero, my favorite of this entire DLC. The stock Nero. This car, oh my god. Okay, first of all, this thing is so nice to drive. I mean, honestly, if you don't buy one, if you know a friend that buys one and you play GTA Online, drive it. It is such a pleasant car to drive. It has grip, it has speed. Of course, it has so much speed that I underestimated how much I need to hit the brakes and once again nailed the fence. And that would have been a crash online because I would have hit the other obstacles in the way. But this is just, it's such an easy car to drive, and it makes the speed really deceptive, which can lead to things like just happened, where you don't realize how fast you're going, and you don't get on the brakes quick enough, and you hit shit. But you can see there it turned in around that hairpin beautifully. Despite the size of this car, it turns in wonderfully. Can you guys tell I'm in love with this car? The active aerodynamics, just the look of it, the designs that you can give to it. Oh my god, it's beautiful. I love the Trifani Nero. And we will bring it back to its parking spot. I'm even making that. Everything I do in this car, I just draw it out. It's so much fun. Which finally brings us to the Nero Custom with its turn around the track. This car's insane. It is a handful to drive, but not so much that it's not a little bit forgiving. You can screw up in this car, and it will get back in line pretty quick if you know what you're doing. It stays very planted, though. As you can see, much better brakes. Much better brakes. Even though I was braking late into the corner, that did not upset this car at all. It is just, as far as race cars go, this thing is good. Is it class leading good? I don't know. I really don't know. And that's something that I cannot wait to see Bruffy's times on these cars, because I know this thing feels pretty damn fast. I mean, I've raced this track hundreds and hundreds of times, and I know what type of laps I can get, and the Nero feels like it's up there. Again, I don't have a timer going. Since I started from a standstill, there was no point. But yeah, it's a fantastic car, and as you can see, I just couldn't bring myself to stop driving it. But hey, I hope you enjoyed this quick look at some of the informal performance testing of the hidden vehicles from the Import-Export DLC. If you did, be sure to hit that like button and get subscribed. I still have a lot to cover from the Import-Export DLC, so turn on notifications for my channel so you don't miss a thing. And of course, I'll be sure to bring you full coverage of each of these vehicles when they are finally unlocked in GTA Online. I'm Brendan72Mo, and I'll see you in the next video.